On her wedding day, the wife nervously waited and walked down the aisle holding her husband's hand. But the husband asked her to take off her jewelry and wedding dress, and handed her a contract. He said, "You are just a hostage sent here. Don't dream of being treated like a wife." Son, the youngest politician in history, is the spokesperson for the president. He comes from a prestigious family, possessing good looks and outstanding talent. Wherever he goes, all women's eyes follow him. In the eyes of outsiders, this rising political star is incredibly radiant. But in the eyes of his wife, Hichu, this hypocritical man deserves nothing but a middle finger. A new day begins, and Son, representing the Blue House, responds to the hostage kidnapping terrorism incident. He skillfully handles the issue, while expressing the government's position. Hichu has watched Son's speeches on TV countless times. She suffers from mutism due to an accident. If she could, she would charge through the screen and expose Son's true face to the public, so everyone knows how this outstanding man, adored by so many, has treated his wife. Hichu is a sign language interpreter at a TV station. After finishing her work and returning home, she is pressured by both her mother-in-law and biological mother regarding the upcoming election. Her mother-in-law demands that she quit her job and fully commit to being a proper housewife. Last year, she said she felt suffocated, which is why Son agreed to let her work outside. But her name and face should never have been exposed to the public in the first place. After her mother-in-law left, her biological mother scolded her. It's all because Hichu married someone else's husband. She should focus on being a proper wife. She still hasn't won her husband's love yet. She's completely useless. From her birth mother's house to her husband's house, no one stands by Hichu. Hichu, heartbroken, drives through the heavy rain, not knowing where to go. On the road, she turns on the radio, but the signal is unstable. The GPS system also alerts her that she has deviated from the route. She tries to slow down, but the car loses control, accelerating uncontrollably in panic. She hits the emergency brake, but the brakes don't work at all. The car speeds through the traffic. Finally, she jerks the steering wheel to force the car to stop. Hichu opens the door to get out but realizes the door won't open. Suddenly, she remembers a news report she had seen about a case where a hacker had implanted malware into a car's navigation software, allowing them to control someone else's car. Hichu, panicked, bangs on the car window trying to escape. At that moment, a blinding light shines. A large truck zooms past next to her. Hichu, frightened, ducks her head down. She looks up and sees a man in black standing in front of the car. The man notices her looking and immediately approaches. After kidnapping Hichu, he uses an international phone number to call Son, threatening to kill his wife. At the same time, Hichu's phone runs out of battery. Son then calls his mother to ask about his wife's situation. He finds out she is with her biological mother and mother-in-law this afternoon. Immediately, he calls his mother-in-law. His mother-in-law says she has brought Hichu home. She plans to let her have dinner before returning. Son hangs up. He orders his subordinates to trace the foreign phone number. Just as he returns to his seat, the phone number calls again. The caller says that they are holding a knife to Hichu's throat. They ask how much Son is willing to pay to get his wife back. Son thinks it's a joke. He doesn't realize that Hichu is going through a life or death nightmare. The man in black, unable to get a ransom, uses a rope to strangle Hichu. Hichu, tears streaming down her face, knows she is just a hostage brought to Son's side. Of course, he won't care whether she lives or dies. The man in black, frustrated, calls again, but Son hangs up. Angrily, he vents his frustration on the car, injuring Hichu's shoulder. He says to her, "This is not an ordinary phone. This phone is only for calling Son, and it has a voice disguise. Moreover, for the first 10 minutes, it cannot be traced. I've also tampered with this car. I've done so much." Yet Son refuses to pick up the phone. At that moment, Son calls. It turns out that one of his subordinates, while tracing the phone number, accidentally hit the dial button, hearing the threat to his wife's life. Son doesn't even give the man a chance to negotiate. This makes him so furious that he starts smashing the car. Hichu, in despair, suddenly accelerates, wanting to die with him. The man in black realizes her intent and lunges to regain control of the steering wheel. During the struggle, the car flies into the air. After spinning 360 degrees, the man in black fell unconscious in the backseat. Hichu listened to the radio, which reported that the hostage rescue had been successful. Hichu understood that Son had once again achieved something significant. She felt even more heartbroken when she realized that she had no value in his world. After work, Son asked a reporter friend to track the foreign phone number. Although it was just a scam call, Son had a bad feeling. On his way home, he drove at high speed. His usual calm demeanor was rarely lost, but today he was out of control. When Son arrived home, he saw Hichu cooking. His tense emotions began to ease. He was even more certain that it was just a scam call. He tried to act indifferent. He said, "So you're still alive?" Those words made Hichu think that Son knew she had been kidnapped, but he just didn't want to rescue her. Heard over and over again, Hichu had lost all hope in Son. 3 years ago, on their wedding day, Sohn had openly told Hichu that she was just a substitute. This wedding would not be public. The public would never know who his wife was. Sohn even had a contract for Hichu to sign. It contained 3 key terms. She could not file for divorce on her own. She could not publicly reveal her identity, or appear as his wife in public. If she violated any of these terms, she would have to pay 2 billion won as compensation for breaking the agreement. Even though they had been married for 3 years, no one knew that Sohn's wife was Hichu. That night, Sohn called his subordinates and ordered them to keep searching for the foreign phone number. As a precaution, he needed a trustworthy team to protect Hichu, but they couldn't let anyone know she was his wife. The next day, Sohn asked Hichu to accompany him to a party hosted by the British ambassador. The ambassador's wife was hearing impaired, and needed Hichu to act as her sign language interpreter. The ambassador's wife thought that Hichu was Sohn's wife. She immediately explained that she was just the interpreter Sohn had brought. The ambassador, therefore, asked why. He had never seen Sohn's wife at any official event. Sohn explained that his wife was his weakness. Because of his identity, he was always attacked from all sides. He could say he was the scapegoat of the government. Therefore, he didn't want his wife to be attacked carelessly like he was. The ambassador praised Sohn, calling him a very romantic person. Hichu found it hard to tell which of his words were true and which were not. She used sign language to say to him, he didn't want her to be attacked carelessly. But in reality, she had long been hurt and broken. He called her his weakness. But his actions yesterday contradicted his words. However, Sohn didn't understand sign language. Before leaving, Hichu signed to him, the wife you just mentioned is probably not me. She then went to the bathroom to stabilize her emotions. At the same time, Sohn received a call from the foreign number. The other person knew he was attending the British ambassador's party. They even knew what he had eaten that evening. Sohn searched through the crowd, trying to guess who the mysterious person was. On the second floor, a man talking on the phone caught his attention. He immediately followed him toward the bathroom. But he discovered he had followed the wrong person. The man was talking to someone else. To help his subordinates trace the phone number, Sohn tried to prolong the call. The mysterious person's words stunned him. He exposed Sohn. The person Sohn was planning to marry was the eldest daughter of the Zhongwan newspaper, Hong In Na. But she had run away just before the wedding. In the end, he was arranged to marry Hichu as a replacement. He cursed Sohn as trash. He treated the two of them like a rest stop, allowing them to come and go as they pleased. Sohn asked the mysterious person what he wanted. He demanded that Sohn give up Hichu and return to his original fiancée. Elsewhere, the identity of the mysterious person was revealed. Unexpectedly, Hichu was hiding in the bathroom. It turned out that yesterday, after Sohn told the man in black to do whatever he wanted to her, he didn't care about her life. In a fit of rage, she suddenly regained the ability to speak. After cursing Sohn, Hichu stepped on the gas, intending to risk her life with the man in black. The car spun and then stopped, but she wasn't injured. The man in black, however, passed out. Seeing his phone in front of her, Hichu picked it up. From then on, she pretended to be him to negotiate with Sohn. Back in the present, Hichu threatened Sohn to give up on her, and also demanded that he pay 2 billion won. During the negotiation, she recounted the pain she endured during the incident the night before. She scolded Sohn for not having a heart, not caring about his wife, yet wanting to bind her to his side. However, Sohn insisted he would never give up on Hichu, and hated the mysterious person for pulling her into this situation. In his anger, he punched the wall. After hanging up and leaving the bathroom, Hichu saw Sohn standing at the door. She turned and quietly left. But Sohn had noticed her. This is the first episode of the series When the Phone Rings. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to follow the next episode. Goodbye and see you soon.